What is up, everybody? I just had my third session. Okay, so this is gonna be one of those little vlogs talking about kind of what happened. Before I start that, I just want to let you guys know I got my keychains in. All profits will be going towards the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride for men's mental health and prostate cancer research. So I'll have that up in my description at the store that I have, and then I also will be giving them out to patrons. But yeah, like I said, all profits will go towards mental health. Just want to throw that out there. I just got it today, so I'm super excited about it. Anyways, let's go ahead and get this going. Once again, this is just going to be a quick vlog. Not much editing at all. So third session actually went pretty well. And what I'm noticing now with these sessions, the first one, it was definitely the intake, and it was very rough. You know, I had to be honest. I had to be open. Had a tough time. Second session, kind of went in there. We were like, who talks first? And then I just started talking. I just said, you know, this is what's been bothering me this past week. And then we went through from there, and she was able to give me tips. And a lot of the tips from last week was words have meaning. You know, give yourself the positivity. If you stay on this negative feedback loop, let's go ahead and just go. If you stay on this negative feedback loop, you'll stay negative. Oops, I don't want this thing to fall out. This is my task cam right here. No cars. So you'll stay on this negative feedback loop if you just keep thinking negative, and that's not good. So what you need to do is start thinking positive. And it's so weird how to hear that, because you kind of already knew that. It's like it's almost like if you're feeling sad, make yourself smile and your body will start to follow that forced smile and start feeling happier. So she was mentioning how in the way I talk, there was some negative. Like I'll say something positive about myself, and then I'll say something like, oh, well, it's not a big deal. She wants me to stop doing that. So I stopped doing that, or I tried to stop doing that this week. And to be quite honest, I felt better. I still feel that negativity of like, oh, but then I tell myself, no, I shouldn't feel that way. I did this accomplishment. So this week was, in this past week that since then, I've been really stressed out about a test that's coming up for my job. It's a very important test. I must pass. It's the last one before I basically am a firefighter for where I work now. I've done it before in Yuma. I've been a firefighter for 10 years now, but I have to redo it because I'm new here. So I've been stressing out quite a bit about it, and it actually turns out while I'm filming this Wednesday, you're not going to see this until Friday, but Thursday, tomorrow, or yesterday for the video, is that I have my test. So I have my test tomorrow at 10:30, and I'm just so nervous. I've been stressed out. So today we were talking about it, and I told her about it, and she's like, wow, it's coming up quick, you know, this and that. We talked about it last week. She said, okay, well, this is what you should do, you know, prepare for it. Basically coaching me. And then this week she's like, wow, it's tomorrow. Okay, well, you are prepared. And it was a lot of positive talk, and it was, well, what happens if you pass? What are you going to worry about next? And I'm like, nothing. I can't think of what I'm going to worry about next. And she's like, you need to think that way. You need to think, you know, you are going to pass this test, and then there's not going to be a worry afterwards. And what happens if you fail this test? Oh, she's like, what happens if you fail this test? I said, well, I'll just retake it. She's like, well, then you got a plan B. And it's like every single thing that I was telling myself that was negative, it's like, but logically you have this already planned. Logically you have this scenario already done. You already thought of this, you already thought of that. So what's the problem? And I'm just thinking to myself, it's like, what is the problem? What is the problem? And it turns out, and she was trying to get me to think, and the problem is that I'm constantly thinking negative. I'm always thinking negative. And it's shaping my perception. It's shaping my reality. Is that I'll say something good, and I'll be prepared for it, and I'll do all this work. And then when it comes down to it, I'm just like negative about it. I did a lot of work to get where I'm at, and I was telling her that. I was telling her all the work because she was asking. She's like, so what did you do this? Like, how did you get to this point? And then I was telling her, it's like, you did all that work, and then you're scared about the test. The test doesn't define you. All that work that you did defines you. All that work everything you did. And then I mentioned YouTube. I mentioned what we have here, and I was telling her, you know, almost 40,000 subscribers. I've got, you know, people in the Discord. You know, we're always talking about the mental health. I got a following. I got people that enjoy what I say and do, and I talk about motorcycle safety tips, gear reviews, and men's mental health. And she's just like, wow, it's like there's all these things that you do, all these great things you do. You help the community here locally. You help the community on the internet. You do it because you enjoy doing it. You do it because you want to do it, and then you get something back from them. You know, they say nice things to you and stuff, and it's like you don't even give yourself that credit. You don't even give yourself that happiness. You just, the way you talk, and it's hard to explain because you guys aren't in there with us, but it's like how I describe it is like, yeah, I do this and this and this, and you know, that's cool and all, but you know, it's just like, it's cool. That's kind of like how I talk. Not that exaggerated about YouTube, because I'm excited about YouTube and excited about my job, but it's like to that point where it's like everything I say, yeah, I do this, this, and this. I almost have 40,000 subscribers, but it's like, it's just YouTube. That whole, but it's just cuz, or those negative connotations at the end, I need to stop. And because I need to let myself enjoy the fact that I'm pretty successful on YouTube. I think I am, and I think that I'm helping. If I help just one person, and that includes me, if I help myself just talking to the camera, it's well worth it. But the fact that I see that I'm helping a lot of you on different areas, different ways, motorcycle tips, gear reviews, and then especially now the mental health stuff. I love reading those comments. I get a lot of private messages. I love seeing in the mental health section on Discord how it's just everyone's helping each other out. I feel like this community has been a great blessing, and I'm just not letting myself enjoy it. Now, she said, you know, it's one thing to like get a big head about it. You know, it's one thing to just get this big ego about it, but it's another thing to just let yourself enjoy the fact that you put in the work and you need to start reaping the benefits. You need to start reaping the positive aspects of it, not just, you know, the money. You know, she said, you know, you obviously didn't start this for the money. And no, I didn't. I did this because I wanted to help others, just like I wanted to help others with the fire department. And so she's let me realize, she's helping me realize that I need to enjoy what I've done. I'm not just sitting at home, laying in bed and doing nothing. I'm actually done a lot of stuff. And for the longest time, I was thinking to myself, I wasn't doing a lot of stuff. I didn't feel like I have a purpose. I didn't feel like this. And I think that was the depression. And I think that was just, you know, the over analytics, the anxiety and all that stuff. But I bet you if you're feeling that same way, if you're feeling like, man, I've done nothing. If you actually take a step back and realize how far you've gotten in certain areas, if you realize that, you know, there are a lot of things, a lot of people do depend on you, that you are important to a lot of people. Like, I feel like what I say on here is important to you. It affects your life. At least I hope so, you know, in a positive way. Like, you're probably doing that to other people. And that's what she was trying to get me to realize. And it actually makes me feel better. It makes me feel better about the stuff that I do. It makes me, it helps me minimize the stress of a test. You know, a test tomorrow. It helps me minimize the stress of a test. It's like, you know what? I've done a lot. I have done a lot, and I'm allowed to be happy about that. I've given a lot. I've received a lot. You guys have been amazing, and I'm able to just accept that. And then we got back to the test. We got back to the stress of the test. And the cool thing about talking to a therapist is that the subject is the test. The symptom is the stress. The subject can be anything. It could be a fight with the girlfriend. It could be, you know, I hurt my shoulder, and that's what the subject is. And then the way I deal with the stress is the stress. That's what we're talking about, and the tools that we're working on. So right now we're working on the subject of a test, and then my stress of it. So she's giving me tips on how to deal with the stress. So now I can apply that to like the shoulder. I can apply that to the argument with the girlfriend. So it's just really cool. So don't think that you're going to a therapist just to talk about, you know, what happened the last week. No, they're giving you tips on how to deal with a specific thing that you can apply to other things. That's how you have to think about that. So anyways, we were talking about the test, and she was telling me, it's like, yeah, go ahead and accept it. Let yourself be stressed with the test. The way you're talking, like I said, she's picking apart my words, and that's what's really nice about a therapist, is that they're trained to do that, and they're trained to see the true meaning behind words. They know we lie to ourselves. But she was saying that the way I sound is like I am stressed, but it's like I shouldn't be stressed. Why am I stressed? Why am I stressed? And I'm trying to get rid of the stress. She's telling me to let yourself be stressed. Jump into the stress. Now, don't jump in. You can't be too stressed, because then if you're too stressed, you freeze up. But if you get enough stress, that's a good thing, especially with this situation. You know exactly where the stress is coming from. You know exactly why you're worried, because it's a big thing, you know. Let yourself be stressed. Let your mind do that overwork. Let your mind, you know, do that fight or flight, so that you can study, so you can remember, so you can do this. But don't let it get so big, so strong, that you freeze up when it comes to the test. And I was telling her about all the scenarios that was coming up in my head and stuff. She said, well, that's good. So that means you know exactly what to expect, right? I was like, well, I guess. And she's like, if you didn't have a scenario in your head to think about what could happen, that means you don't know what could happen. If I just literally was thinking right now, it's like, I have no clue. That means I didn't know. But the fact that I do kind of have an idea of what it could be, what I know as my job is, and what I should have been studying, it's I already know it, and I'm able to create scenarios. So now she's telling me, instead of creating scenarios of, you know, you sit down at the test and you look at the time, it's like, oh my gosh, this is a hard question, what do I do? You know, all that stuff. What she said is to start thinking of, you know what, you sit down, you start writing the questions to the test, and you turn it in. Think of that, the positive of the relaxation of turning it in, it's like it's done. Think of it that way. So there's like a bunch of tips that I could definitely, you know, I'm trying, this is for me also, like I want to help, I'm going to listen to this while I do the editing and stuff, so it helps me remember exactly what happened in the session. But there's a lot of things that you do get from a therapist. There's no way I can explain it all in 10 to 20 minutes. There's no way I could do that. So I highly recommend, if you're in this position, to go see a therapist. It will definitely help you out. And if you think that it's not helping you out because all you're doing is talking about little things here and there, and it's like the big picture is this, you know, I have depression, this. They give you small tips. They're training your brain. You can't just jump in to the gym and say, I'm going to squat 4 plates, you know, 405 pounds, first time ever doing it. You got to work yourself up to that, you know? So you got to work yourself up, and that's what I'm doing, and that's the mindset you have to have going in to your first couple sessions. Because I'm going to tell you right now, you are going to be a little bit agitated, thinking that nothing's getting done, but you have to realize every little tip, every little thing that you're being taught, like the stress of a test, how to deal with the stress of a test. I can apply that to the stress of, you know, an argument with the girlfriend. I can apply it to the stress of, you know, hurting my shoulder and having to deal with that. Those are all the things that I'm trying to get at. And I feel like now that I'm working on things, I can bring that to you. But once again, guys, I just want to say thank you so much for being there in the Discord, being there in the comments, seeing those positive things. That does help. And she mentioned how that I should just accept the fact that I'm either helping someone else or what I'm saying is actually valued. So I just want to say thank you. It's because you guys, I've been staying afloat for this long, you know, subconsciously. All right, but like I said, make sure this person's turning. All right, I'm almost home. I'm gonna go ahead and go home and work on this video, and then I got some stuff for next week. But if you want to check out that mustache keychain, like I said, every single cent of profit is going to go towards men's mental health and prostate cancer research once the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride allows me to donate, because I'm going to donate to them and participate. I believe it's this September or October again, and I want to see how much I can raise. At the same time, I want you guys to get some stuff. You know, it's a cool keychain. I love it. Might get some more. But with that said, I'm going to go ahead and head out, and hope you guys ride safe, be safe, and join the Discord and chat.